Back for some maths, and we're going to look at inequality signs. So we're going to be looking at our greater than, our less than, and our equal to sign. Now the equal to you'll be really familiar with, and it's making sure that either side of the equal sign, the numbers, or whatever's there, because it doesn't have to be a number, it could be an equation, is the same value. And we often refer to the equal sign as being the same on both sides, almost like a balancing scale. But then our other inequality signs, it really does depend on which way round they go. So if we think of it like a crocodile's mouth, so if I draw a bigger version, the crocodile is a hungry crocodile, and he's going to want to eat the bigger number. He wants something big for his dinner. So for our first one, the bigger or the larger number is going to be on the left, and the smaller number is going to be on the right, and that'll be the inverse for below. So when we're seeing these in questions, it could be really simple, where we've got two numbers and we've just got to decide what symbol's going to go in that box. And of course we know 10's bigger than 5, so the crocodile's mouth is going to want to open and eat that number. And again, if I had like even bigger numbers, so we look at our hundreds because we're comparing our numbers here. So even though that's got a 7 in and it's bigger than, or almost all of those because the 8's bigger, it's these two that I care about in my hundreds because they have a higher value. And it's 300 is ultimately bigger than 200. So then our inequality sign is going to open to the bigger number. Now it's nice and easy once you've got answers, but what you might find is you come across some questions where you have to do some calculations and then decide where the symbols go. So the key thing to remember is the crocodile's mouth opens to the bigger number or the bigger answer. So I'd like you to put that into practice and have a go at these three questions. So you've got to do some column addition on both sides first, get your answer and then decide which one's bigger. Some column subtraction on both sides and then decide which one's bigger or smaller. And then some grid method multiplication and then decide which one's bigger or smaller. Or they could be equal to. In that case you'd use the equal sign. So pause the video, write down the numbers and have a go. Okay, let's go for some answers. So for our top question for our two additions, we should have had the number on the right hand side, or the answer being bigger rather, but we don't necessarily need the answer because it's still showing that these two, when they're put together, are the same. So that's bigger. And then the second question for our subtraction, it was actually the question on the left that was bigger, so therefore the crocodile's mouth opens to those numbers, or just the answer. You could have rewritten it as the answer. And then finally for the multiplication, again it was the question on the left hand side that was bigger, so the crocodile's mouth opened to there. So you've had some practice, you've had a check, create some of your own questions and see if you can also get a question where an equal sign goes in the middle. So just like I've done, copy out two questions. You could have add, subtract, multiplication. You could even mix it up on both sides and then decide what symbol goes in the middle at the end. So work out a question, and then put the symbol in. See if you can find any that are the same on both sides.